ladies and gentlemen, guess who's back again? It's your favorite mummy on the whole internet, joined by his pet undead Ampu Anubis dog. So gentlemen, for today's video, we'll get started with some harpies, and then for article story, a person asked the question, why have men given up on dating? Yeah guys, why have men given up on dating given how easy and accessible and pleasant it is? We'll take a look at that, gentlemen. But I hope you're having a nice day. And I'm not gonna lie, it's probably gonna get a bit worse, but we're gonna enjoy it. So let's get started.
Sometimes you talk to men and then they say something and you just realize, wow, you're a man. Like, that was such a man thing to say. And then you're just like, okay.
Such a man thing to say. What, making too much sense for you? Being rational and all that, sharing only what is needed instead of blubbering for 2 hours straight is too manly, you know? It's like, ugh. I don't know, guys.
Man. Like, it happens so often. You're having a nice conversation and then they say something and you're just like, that was very male of you, if you know what I mean.
I mean, sorry, madam, sorry for talking only the necessary stuff, put in the best way possible. Instead, maybe I should talk about how Mercury being in retrograde is affecting my emotions, and then cry uncontrollably because I'm emotionally unstable. I don't know, guys, I don't know. Well, did you want me to talk about how bad I drive, so you feel more connected to the conversation? Anyways, guys, we'll leave this woman off here. We can laugh all we want, but the truth of the matter is these women are so bitter, guys. they just hate everything male. They say they want a man who is essentially a woman, but when they see that type of man, they don't like him at all. You know, it's a fight inside them because they like men who are masculine, yet the feminist propaganda and agenda is making them hate them. You know, it's like they hate what they love. It's very strange to explain, gentlemen. But let's move on to this one right here. We covered her the day before, and she's went on like 372 dates. So we're gonna cover a few of them and just see the average experience that you may get if you're going on a date.
The fifth guy was someone I met on Bumble, and I met him right as me and the first guy were ending for the first time. So I was like fucking heartbroken and probably shouldn't have been dating, to be honest. But this guy was like a really nice person and had his life together, it seemed.
Yeah, by the way, where we left is she was dating multiple bad boys, you know, the usual, getting blasted by all the chads, and she decided, hey, let me for a change date a good guy. So let's see how that goes.
And it was just someone the kind of person I knew I should be dating, so I decided to give it a go. The attraction wasn't really there because he was so nice. I was just hoping it would come, and the sexual attraction definitely was not there. And he also was depressed, and he used to make jokes about unaliving himself a lot, and my mental health wasn't the best at the time, so I didn't think that was that good for me. But I think we dated for about 3 months, and eventually we went on holiday. And soon as I went on that holiday, I knew I didn't want to be with him and I shouldn't have gone, and the whole thing was a massive mistake. And he also made some really dodgy comments about the whole Sarah Everard Wayne Couzens case that put me off of him. So as soon as we got home, I ended things immediately on the grounds that we just didn't have a very good sexual connection, which he admitted was the case. And he turned around and was like, oh, we could just carry on sleeping together if you want. And I was just like, you're not really getting it. But yeah, I feel bad for letting that one drag on as long as it did. But he was a nice guy and I really just wanted to give it a chance. But it just was not meant to be. Sixth guy was somebody I met in real life. I met him at West Ham Football Stadium, and he came up and asked for my phone number. And he was good looking, so I gave it to him. But then he kept calling me every...
He was good looking, so I gave it to him. Summarizes most modern women today, to be honest with you guys. It's all they care about, right? These guys that are good looking, it's so easy for them. You just ask these women's number, you meet them at the club, you meet them here and there. They just spread their legs, guys. It's like a button, you know? You're attractive, you press the button and they open their legs. Very accessible.
every night. He was calling me every Friday night at like 2 in the morning. Like, so clearly just trying to booty call me. Eventually,
really?
we met up on a night that we were both out, and he was just a huge Coca-Cola head, and you could see he literally had Coca-Cola around the rings of his nostrils. So I actually ended up blocking him. We actually reconnected like 2 years later because we kept matching on the apps, and he was still a Coca-Cola head and only wanted.
That is being is enjoying Coca-Cola a red flag? I don't know. But well, so she sees a guy. She establishes after a few dates that he only wants her for S3X, even though it was obvious from the beginning, but alright. So she establishes that, and then they quote unquote reconnect 2 years later. Reconnect their genitals, I must presume, right? It's like these women, guys. And then they'll cry. Then they'll cry about, where all the good men, Yet at the same time, they see chads that are obviously chads, that only view them as side dishes and booty calls, and they entertain them. It's like, man, it's impossible to save these women, guys. It's impossible. Now, let's continue.
Still a Coca-Cola head and only wanted to sleep with me. The 7th guy, I met him on Bumble. He had great banter, good looking, cute dog. So we used to walk his dog. We used to go to the same gym, so we'd go and use the spa together. We had like 3 really lovely fun dates, and then he literally started crying on my shoulder about his ex, and I realised that he wasn't over her, and I also realised that he was sleeping with loads of different women. So we became friends, and...
Wait, what? He was sleeping with all the women and just wanted to sleep with you? What, you mean just like literally all the rest? Except that one nice guy? You mean literally like 98% of your other dates and other people you've messed with? Wow, guys, I'm starting to see a pattern here. You know, it seems as... Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but it just seems as she's going for the same type of men constantly. I might be wrong, guys, I don't know. It may be a coincidence, you know?
He admitted to me that he slept with over 1,000 women. Number 8, this was a guy I met on Tinder. I probably shouldn't have gone out with him because he was quite a bit younger than me.
Let me guess, he just wanted you for a booty call. I'm not Nostradamus, guys. I don't have a crystal... I don't have the crystal ball in front of me right now. But that's my guess.
But we went on a really nice date. We went axe throwing. And then on the date, he told me that he was not looking for anything serious. So when he asked for another date... and
Guys, I guessed it. Holy crap, I guessed it. Wow, Hidan, are you a prophet? Yeah, I don't know, guys. Maybe I am. You can't take these women seriously. Just each time you take a guess, alright? She has gone on so many dates. Each time at the start, before she tells her full crappy story, just take a guess and say, and he just wanted you as a booty call and you devalued your body and your time by entertaining him, right? And you're gonna be correct in like 99% of the times. You know, it's hilarious, guys. These women.
tried to kiss me. I just declined on both counts. Number 9 was a guy I matched with on Tinder. We had a little FaceTime. He was Australian. He was nice enough, but just you could tell neither of us were really feeling it, and we did not speak again. Number 10 was a guy I met on Bumble. He was another guy who seemed nice enough, and we went on a date to the pub. And I thought he was a little bit rude because when we were chatting, he just kind of kept looking around the room, and I was like, "Oh, am I boring you?" And when I pointed that out, he actually got really offended. Anyway, clearly neither of us were bothered because we did not go out again.
Guys, I do that. When I'm out with people, I'm constantly looking in all directions. It's not because I'm autistic. I don't know if you do that as well. I don't know, it's just I like to observe, you know? I like to watch, you might say. No, but what if a gang of ninjas attacks me from the back, you know? And I wasn't looking in multiple directions to see them coming, right? Like, you expect me to sit there like, I don't know, like some beta, just looking at one person at a time, you know, not being aware of my surroundings. Have to be ready all the time. The male feminists are looking for me. They want to fight me. Have to be, you know, ready for them. Ready for everything, for that matter. So I don't know if you do that, guys.
Number 11 was a guy I met on Bumble, and it was probably one of the worst dates I've ever been on in my life. He wasn't even my type, but he was massively on my case about going for a date. So I gave him a chance. He asked me to meet him at the pub Arsenal were playing. He told me him and his brother were going to be watching it, and then once it was over, we'd go for food. So I go and meet him. He's at the table watching Arsenal on his phone, and when I get there, he barely looks up from his phone, just says hi, and then goes back to it. The brother was there and started asking me questions like, oh, where have you come from? What do you do? And the brother was like, oh, should I get you a drink? Brother goes off to get me a drink. And then I say to this guy, you're in a bit of a bad mood. Should I just go home? And he's like, no. Like, once this finishes and we get food, I'll be fine. Anyway, so the match finishes. We're getting ready to go. And the brother's just standing there awkwardly. And I felt really bad because I'd actually chatted to the brother more than the guy. And I didn't even want to go for dinner with this guy at this point. So I said to the brother, I was like, well, you can come if you want. And I ended up going on a date with this guy and his brother. As we were chatting over Thai food, it transpired that the guy that I was going on a date with was on day 3 of a bender. He'd gone out with work on the Thursday and got fucked. They'd had a new baby born in the family on Friday, and the pair of them had been drinking. And then Saturday morning, he'd started drinking early for the football. We split the meal 3 ways at my date's request. And then afterwards, he said, do you want to come for drinks with us? You can stay at mine tonight. And I said, no, thank you. He actually messaged me a whole year later, just to say that I looked hot in my WhatsApp photo, and he did admit maybe bringing his brother on the date was not the best idea. Anyway, I'm running out of time now, so I'll have to do a podcast.
Yeah, guys, we're not gonna watch part 2. Sorry if you wanted to watch part 2. I've had enough. It's more of the same, really. How many dates? She mentioned 50 dates in 3 years. You can make it 50, you can make it 500, guys. They all look the same. It's all men that are not interested in them. They don't care enough. There was this one guy who cared about her and wanted something more. Oh, we didn't have the connection. There was no chemistry. The bad chemistry was really bad. We didn't connect. This is horrible, guys. These women, they go on the same dates. They go on the same dates with the same men. It's the same thing. Like, you mentioned, I think she mentioned 8 dates out of the 50. Guys, they're all the same, right? And this is why these women are single. They're literally doing the same thing over and over again, which is the definition of insanity. These women are insane, guys. You're not going to get any better than this on dating apps. It's like the vast majority of women, they are the same. If they talk to you on the date about their past experiences, you can just blank out, think about your dog at home or something, guys, because it's all the same. They are the same individuals. And let me tell you, they make up for some terrible dating options. They are horrible dating prospects that will result in them cheating on you, them sabotaging the relationship, them creating problems out of thin air, them being insecure, and them divorcing you and taking your children and half your assets away. Is what these women result into. So very bad options, guys, very bad options. And they pay a therapist for 10 to 15 years at a time to talk about their exes. They never change the slightest bit about them. And at a certain point, after they keep repeating that, they go beyond the point of no return. And they are lost. They hit the wall. They are unsavable. And that's how they end, with 7 cats and a crippling depression. But gentlemen, enough about these women. Azampu is very angry. So we're gonna move on to our article story, which, as mentioned, is a guy asking men who have given up on dating, why? I, 25-year-old male, personally gave up for a myriad of reasons, but mostly because it's just not for me, and I'm probably too damaged to trust someone. Plus, the landscape of dating makes it extremely hard due to accessibility of options any potential partner may have, which means you have to virtually be perfect to stand out. True. Anyway, the purpose of this was not to rant, but to give a bit of insight as to why I gave up. I genuinely want to know why other men have given up. It's actually sad, guys. This is a 25-year-old guy, and he's already given up. Like, it's so sad, the dating scene that we have today. Men in the past, at 25, they were on top of life. You know, they were interested in women, they wanted to form families and all that. Nowadays, at 25, they've already given up. Like, it's so sad to see that there are so many men that want to lead a normal life, and they just can't. They don't have that option. If they are not, as this guy mentioned, virtually perfect to stand out. And even then, when you are virtually perfect, so Chads, let's say, very attractive, very tall, you still don't get love. You know what I mean? Like, these Chads guys, they're playing the game, they're only getting hookups. And they know they are, right? That's what they care about. But you don't find love. The options in dating nowadays is have S3X or not have S3X. When it comes to love, it's like, what, one of every 1,000 women, probably, depending on where you are, can give you love, can love you for who you are and what you bring to the table, instead of how much money you have in your bank account or how well does your body look. But let's read some of the comments, gentlemen. First one here says, haven't given up yet, but I'm very close. I just get tired of the inconsistency. You talk to someone who might have potential, they disappear. You schedule a date, they end up saying they can't make it, then disappear. That's the most frustrating part. I mean, my dude, you're doing it wrong. You're actually looking for a relationship. You're doing it all wrong, my dude. Hookups or no hookups, as mentioned, that is what dating has come to be nowadays. You're looking for someone consistent. These women literally get turned off if you talk about a relationship or any sort of consistency. They don't like it, they hate it. You have to pretend for a bit that you're interested, get them in bed and then disappear. It's what they like, it's what they're after. Another one says, being single since I was 23, now 34. I don't have time for mind games. I'd rather be stress-free and alone, doing whatever I want, than trying to play the game. How do you feel about this comment, guys? How do you feel? It's so many men have come to this conclusion. Just, I'm tired of the games, tired of the little schemes, tired of this fake game, this charade, you know. And this guy, again, very sad. At 23, he realized, nah, it's not happening. Very sad society, guys. No one wants me, says average Andrew. Where you're average. Don't care if you're very attractive. Don't care if you are rich. You're not rich enough. You're average, Andrew. That's why nobody wants you. Continuing on, Lobsterfest says, with my current situation, there just isn't a point. I don't have a car or place of my own. Ew, such a nick. Can't exactly go on dates with no way to get around and nowhere to go. Not to mention, I've just never had any luck with relationships. Again, this guy trying to go on relationship. Bro doesn't even own a car and a place and make the 6 digits. You know what I mean? You're not eligible to date yet. Especially in this economy. Another one says, I tried dating last summer and it was the most stressed I've ever been in a long time. Either I'm just one of her guys on a roster, or they went full tilt BPD obsessed with me until I had to end it for my own safety. I'm just not comfortable doing it anymore. Yeah, dating is very stressful, as you may have observed, guys. Max Fly says, I've not given up but very, very close to. Tired of the one-sided efforts. Wow, this is very true, guys. Like nowadays, sorry to pause it right here, but nowadays I feel like, it's not I feel, it's true. Women are providing so little, it's so little, guys. And this statement has never been more true, that as a man, you have to provide 3 times more efforts than your grandfather did to have a woman that is 3 times worse than your grandma was, or 3 times or 30. It's all the same. They don't provide anything, guys. These women are so arrogant. They think that their very presence should be something you should pray God for. Couldn't be more wrong. Flakiness, lack of response and enthusiasm. Of course, these women show a lack of enthusiasm. They have literally hundreds of guys just like you texting them. All of these 100 guys talking to them how attractive they are, how they are God's gift to the earth. Oh, you're so pretty, I will die for you. They have 100 of those. They don't care. Incredible double standards and quality of people I have encountered. Feel like there is very little freedom of choice to who I date. Being eternally single and just getting very tired. I honestly don't know why you haven't given up yet. You know. There's a quite long one here. I'm not gonna read it now. I'm gonna read some of the shorter ones. Another one here says, and we'll cut the video short, guys, in a moment, but it's just so insightful to read what other men are going through, because as you may notice, they are all moreover the same. Notice how there's not one guy saying, oh no, it's actually easy, it's actually accessible, I actually found a girlfriend that loves me and it's all really good and nice. And you might say, oh Hidan, that's why it's because on this post they're not talking about that. It's not that, guys, it's just the vast majority, the biggest percentage of men. That's what they go through. And there's this one man out of, let's say, 100 that actually finds a good woman. Doesn't need to be a chat. The men who find good women is because they found a woman that values something more than just the superficial. Yeah. This guy says most of women today are extremely soliciting, demanding, and challenging. So, oh, you feel intimidated, you're saying. You feel very intimidated by this woman, eh? Life aside them is a competition and a fight, and I want a peaceful life. I'm happy to live alone. I'm emotionally drained by previous relationships, and I don't have too much to offer. So many guys are getting out of relationships and saying, man, I feel like a weight has been taken off my shoulders. I feel like I've been locked to this ball and chain, and now no longer. I feel free. And last one here, we're gonna read from Mizo, Happy Forever. There's unresolved trauma, gaslighting, lying in previous relationships, being cheated on. Almost all my homies have gone or are going through this. So there is something I say about women, and it is that you are the common denominator, right? If all your previous relationships look a certain way, it's probably you. And so there is this guy that says all my previous relationships have been bad, so he done. Why doesn't your advice apply in the same way here? Well, it's true, guys, that regardless of whether it's a man or a woman, if you commit the same mistake more than a few times, you're a moron. But notice how he says, almost all my homies have gone or are going through this, alright? Like, when it comes to men, so because when it comes to women, there are women who pick the same men over and over again, and they get crapped, they get cooked. But there are all the women who manage to have good relationships, you know? There is this distinction. It's not the same with men. With men, as mentioned, 1 out of every 100 manages to find a good woman. The rest of them, they're going through this, right? So with men, it's not that they pick the same type of women. It's that most women today, it's truly this is the case, guys. Most women today are just undateable. This is why most men go through this, and men literally stop dating because they don't want to go through this. Yeah, our options are limited, my boy. That's the reality. Having standards as a man makes you a bad guy. Oh, absolutely. You don't get to have standards. That makes you a misogynist. It's all about self-improvement. This helps you achieve personal objectives and build self-confidence. So this is why Mizo is happy forever, because he has ditched dating altogether, and now he is all about self-improvement. But gentlemen, we'll end it right here. This article was very insightful. Let me know which of the things you agree with. But it's very true, guys. And to be honest with you, I'll never say that you should not date or marry. I think that's one of the best things in life. But when done in a good manner, you know, when done accordingly. And today's day and age just doesn't permit it. So my advice is, if you find a good woman, lock down. If you don't, guys, just improve. Go to the gym, follow your hobbies, meet with your friends. There's so many books to read, so many, I know, series to watch. I mean, not so many nowadays with crappy Disney ruining everything, but you get the point. There are so many things in life. Don't make it all about women, especially when women are just not a reliable path to take in life. You know what I mean, guys? But I've posted a picture of me that you can check on the community tab. And with that being said, guys, thank you for making Ampus Day better. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you soon enough. Have a good one.